take a seat, take a load off your feet. Welcome back into the Mob Podcast. I'm Brian Oliveira alongside Stephen Mew and Josh Berger.
Hello.
Stephen's still at Levi's Stadium. We'll get to that in a second, but man, we got a lot to cover. Boys and girls, thank you for coming in. If it's a first-time listener or if you guys have watched this the last couple of weeks, it is Monday, September 27th, 2021. And let's just go right into that epic finish out at Santa Clara last night. The 49ers taking on the Green Bay Packers. Man, we get off to a slow start again. Jimmy G, love the guy, but again, slow start, had an early turnover in the form of a pick. And then it brought us to when the coaches started getting involved, because the coaches were a big factor last night. If you guys saw the game, if not, we're going to have a rundown here in a second. But I'm going to start with something I was told growing up, and it's a quote that says, "Coaches set up players to succeed, but the players win the games." And, that is going to come into play throughout this conversation tonight. But I will say this, at 10 minutes, 25 seconds left in the second quarter, Green Bay coach Matt LaFleur took a stab at putting his player in a great position on a 4th and 1 or a 4th and goal. I know is near the goal line against us. And this was the play, though, I thought was strange. He calls a Randall Cobb to go in motion. So his wide receiver, he motions out to the left, and then Aaron Rodgers is locked on him the whole time, and they don't convert it. And by the way, Josh, I think you're younger than Randall Cobb. No offense to Mr. Cobb there, but that was the play. That at that point, we had from the early slow start, we had been down 10-0. We would have been down 13-0 perhaps if they elected to kick a field goal, but they went for it. And then the game sort of changed. From there, we're talking only seconds left in the first half. And I all of a sudden hear Trey Lance is on the field. And Josh, what happens next?
Well, I didn't know what was happening. I know we were, watching the game.
Thought it was a field goal.
Yeah, because it was a 3rd and goal with seconds to go. And I was like, okay, they're going to kick a field goal. At least get some points on the board before half. And then they switched the camera to Trey Lance. And, of course, we all started, essentially freaking out because Trey Lance is in. So, and then the play, it was a shotgun play. It was really an RPO, but not really an RPO because there was nobody in the backfield.
He was going. Yeah,
he was just going. So he just takes the ball, runs to the left with Alex Mack and Trent Williams throwing a pancake block, and boom goes the dynamite. He was clear as day, touchdown, first career rushing touchdown for Trey Lance, and many more to come.
That was a huge play. I mean,
set the tone.
Yeah.
I mean, when you throw Trey Lance out there with 2 seconds on the clock, before half, I mean, I'm really thinking Shanahan's going to kick the field goal. And so when we saw Lance out there on the field, man, we were stoked. I was so happy to see him out there on his first play. And if he didn't score, we would have had 0 points going into the half. So, gutsy move by Shanahan. Kudos to him for making the right call. Let's hope we see more of Lance on the field in the future, because we know what he can do when he gets the ball in his hands. So love that play, though, for sure. Like you said, Josh, huge blocks by Williams, Mack, and then Laken Tomlinson, the left guard, blocked off that whole left side, and all the receivers on the right side. Lance, just go straight left and uses his speed to get to the end zone with that huge Williams block to help him out.
Exactly. You just keep feeding him. And, and I don't know, you guys saw Trey Lance.
The pancake.
The pancake block. And
pancake block was nice.
Sponsored by IHOP all of a sudden. But, it's just like Trey Lance gave the ball directly to Trent Williams right after the touchdown. And Trent Williams spiked that ball with all his might, because it's not every day he gets a lead block like that. So that was a beautiful play.
So I'll jump in quickly and say that set, as you guys painted the picture, it set the tone for the second half.
Yeah.
We received the ball first, down only 10-7, and then what happened?
Yep. And then it became kind of a back and forth, a little bit battle. Jimmy was struggling in the first half, but he started to kind of pick up momentum, and kudos to him for finishing the way we finished, because there was some questionable calls that Jimmy made. He overthrew some, might have thrown it into the wrong receiver because there was double coverage, or but it looked very questionable here and there. But he looked good, pretty solid. I mean, I would give Jimmy I mean, if I were going to give him a letter grade, I would probably give him a B, which is pretty
B
solid.
B plus.
Yeah,
maybe?
B plus. Yeah. But yeah, he looked good, and what was I going to say? But that one play where he was getting tackled and spun around, and he threw the ball backwards when we had about 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and
It'd have been a fumble at that point.
Yeah, I know, and I thought, oh no, that's not a fumble, and then we looked at the replay, and like, oh no, that is a fumble, and so you start to question, like, okay, what's going to happen now? Are we going to blame Trey Lance? Are we not going to blame Trey Lance? But the Niners stopped the Packers drive after that turnover, and we stopped them. I think they tried to throw to Davante Adams on the left side of the field, and Mosley stopped them, which ended up forcing the Packers to get a field goal. So instead of being 10 up, there were 6 up.
Right. With a few minutes left.
With a few minutes left. And I believe it was about 2.5 minutes left. And Niners get the ball back, and they start to do the drive. And I don't know what Steven, I mean, if you had any insights on
Steven,
that.
take us through it. Yeah, take us through those last couple minutes.
I mean, it was exciting. I mean, Jimmy G, in general, he makes the right throws when it's in crunch time a lot of times. I mean, if you look at his record and kind of his comeback wins and stuff like that. So, I mean, when he brought us back and we're watching the game and we're thinking about, okay, guys, we need to score a touchdown. We know that the Packers don't have any timeouts left, but of course you don't want to give them too much time. I think Garoppolo's slant pass to Juszczyk at the 2-yard line, Juszczyk barrels his way in with about I think it was 37 seconds remaining.
Stop right there for a moment, because I want to take us back on the drive. We had asked last week, we had Justin from Pleasant Hill, your cousin, asking, how do we get Kittle involved? Well, he got involved, but not until that last play. Could we have seen that earlier? Or was maybe Shanahan saving that for the last drive? Because Kittle and Juszczyk were instrumental on that last drive. So take me back. Anyone got like a passionate view on that Kittle catch and run?
I mean, there was 2 Kittle plays on the last drive. One was to the left sideline, where he took the ball and was running down the sideline. I'm pretty sure he ran over somebody at that point, and he got maybe 10 yards. And then a couple of plays later, he got a big chunk, which reminded me of the Packers playoff game a couple years ago, where he ran that wheel route, and he pretty much did the same thing. And he was dragging somebody for like 15, 20 yards, which set us in a prime spot for the Kyle Juszczyk. I think it was like a 12-yard play, but it was,
One more Juszczyk shout out, because you don't get to often shout out the fullback. Love the play where Juice comes over in motion, then just goes right under center, and then gets the first down on basically a QB sneak. That I don't know if that was on the last drive, but that was pretty tricky. And it goes to show, again, the coaches, you start to see some of the gamesmanship and all that. But then fast forward and we're about 22 yards out. Steven pick it back up with that completion to Juszczyk, who was him and Kittle stars of the drive. But
yes, too much time on the clock.
Too much time
with amazing quarterback and Aaron Rodgers. When we scored, I was like, yes, it was awesome. We scored a touchdown, extra point for the lead, but I had hesitation, right? Because we know 37 seconds is a lifetime for Aaron Rodgers. Just to get in the field goal range.
No timeouts.
I think it would be different if the Pack needed to score a touchdown to win the game, but just to get in the field goal range, Rodgers 25-yard pass to Davante Adams, another 17-yard pass to Davante Adams, and boom, in field goal range, 3 seconds left on the clock. And Mason Crosby hits a 51-yard field goal to win the game. But I mean, I think on that last defensive drive, I mean, we knew that Rodgers is going to look for Davante Adams. Davante Adams had 12 catches, 132 yards. He was targeted 18 times, guys. 18 times.
Good God.
He's a monster.
The second biggest target was Mark Valdez-Scantling, and he had 4 targets the entire game. Okay, so we knew the ball was going to go to Adams. Obviously, our prevent defense didn't hold up. Adams found the hole right in between. Our secondary was
Fred
too
Warner,
deep. Linebackers caught in between, and 2 easy passes from Rodgers to Adams to break down our defense and win the game.
Devontae Adams, Palo Alto High School's own. He's a Bay Area
I didn't
guy.
know that.
Yeah. And but well, first I was glad to see him pop up, even though he's on the other team. That was crazy. There was a couple of non-calls and things. But let's go to we got a little speed round here, and you guys just hit it once each. First time this year, I think, as far as playing an elite quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. And I think the reaction was too much time for Aaron Rodgers, guys. That's too much time.
Oh, yeah.
What is the difference? I mean, if let's say Goff was in that spot, would we have been worried? And even that said, we were down a few cornerbacks. So you could see, it was almost like you could see it happen before it happened.
You definitely, at the moment you scored that touchdown, I immediately thought, no. Because it's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's like Jared Goff is not going to do that. Jalen Hurts is not going to do that. Our last two opponents. We got that.
Aaron Rodgers.
But it's Aaron Rodgers. And not only is it Aaron Rodgers, it's Aaron Rodgers against third string corners. I mean,
there's something to be said there.
We were so hurt. I mean, Mosley was out. K'Waun Williams went out in the first quarter. Josh Norman got a bruised lung, which I found out today. He was coughing up blood. He's fine. Yeah. He's fine now. But it's just those guys. As soon as those guys went down, that's why Devontae Adams was targeted 18 times. And so you got Dante Johnson, who's been cut from the team like 6 times, and he somehow comes back. Then you got
Lenore was in there, rookie. He showed his, he showed out as a rookie, right? Last night.
He did, yeah.
And sorry to interrupt, Stephen, but to move this along, I would say this. Because there was inexperience, because they were about our 4th, 5th, 6th best cornerbacks on the field, there was a lot of holding, there was a lot of PI, and it cost us big. I would even argue there was a penalty that we did with that head-to-head collision with Devontae Adams, where we might not have even been in that spot. So albeit it was like, dang, we scored too early.
Yeah.
To be in that spot was amazing. I think the excitement level, you saw everyone go crazy.
Yeah.
But Stephen, if you had to draw it up again, would you just would have hoped for a different outcome, right?
Well, yes, for sure. And I think defensively, our defensive scheme could have been changed up a bit. I mean, we weren't rushing the quarterback. Check this out, guys. Green Bay had 11 QB hits on Garoppolo. And Niners had 2 QB hits the whole game. So you can see Packer defensive line got to Garoppolo. I think he was sacked about 3 times. So not like a ginormous amount, but they pressured the QB way more than our D-line did. I mean, Bosa was up against a 3rd string left tackle and unfortunately didn't have his best game, had 0 sacks. I think just a couple tackles. And so, when you only, hitting Aaron Rodgers twice the entire game,
get
1 sack, I think, from Eric Armstead, Rodgers had all day to throw.
Yeah, they weren't blitzing enough. I don't know why they weren't blitzing. Especially with our secondary being so weak, you want to get in there as fast as you can. Because Aaron Rodgers is not the quickest quarterback on his feet.
Well, that leads me to this.
Yeah.
Who do we have next week, if anyone knows?
I believe we have on to Seattle.
Seattle.
On to Seattle.
Let's get on to Seattle. So
at home.
We don't have time to preview that game in full because otherwise we lose our Giants coverage. But we are playing a league MVP type quarterback in Russell Wilson. Does it scare us? Do we have reason to pause? Are we going to 2-2? Real quick lightning round. Are we winning that game? I'm putting you guys right on the spot. Josh, you go first. Are we winning against Seattle at home?
Absolutely. Jimmy G has never lost consecutive games while being on the Niners.
Okay.
He has not lost a consecutive game, and he ain't starting now. So
Stephen Mew.
I got to follow up on you, Josh. Niners got to get the win. Obviously, both teams are going to be pumped to come back because they both lost this past weekend. So it'll be an interesting game, but hopefully we can pull it out against Russell. We've got to limit Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf out there on the receivers because you know what they can do.
And all I can say to Kyle Shanahan, run the ball just a little bit more. Get back to that game. I know we're hurt on the running back, but run the ball more.
Well, I'm going to say this as the unofficial host. I'm going to skeet that question because I'm not sure at this point. And we're going to move it on to another team called the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, who since we last talked have won 5 games, have deepened their lead on the Dodgers to 2. But Josh, I know you've got a lot to say, and we had some breaking news today, which was, no pun intended, was bad. So Josh, where are we with the San Francisco Giants?
So like you said, we've won 5 games in a row. Nice. I like the shirt. We've won 5 games in a row. We are playing the D-backs for the next 3 games at home. And we're also playing the Padres for the last 3 games at home. And so with the Dodgers still being behind us, breathing down our necks, I say, now I think Steven and I talked about this already, is that the Giants have to win at least 4 out of 6 to possibly win the division. Because right now,
or go to that game 163 where they play it off for the division.
Right. And do you want to do that?
No, not particularly.
No, not particularly. And
so win the 4 out of 6, and I think that's doable.
I think it's doable, but we did get some a little bit unfortunate news today.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty.
A lot of it.
I know. So we got Captain Brandon Belt.
Baby Traff.
Yeah, he got a fastball to his left thumb. It didn't look that bad, but X-rays came back positive with a fractured left thumb. So he's definitely out for the rest of the season. He could be back second round of the playoffs if we make it to that. I think he's going to really have to force it. Granted, it's not in his throwing hand. So if he can somehow make it work, we'll see. But we got to win.
Josh, just for our listeners, you scared me a second. He is not out for the entire, he's out for the regular season, and he may be back for the playoffs. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You got me fluttering there. Okay.
No. I didn't want to scare anybody like that. But what's even crazier is that the Cardinals right now are on a 16-game win streak. And so
that's coming into play, right?
Do you want to play the Cardinals or the Dodgers?
Pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly. Pick your poison. Yeah.
Steven, what you got on the Giants?
Man, I mean, I still can't believe we're in the position that we're in.
It doesn't make sense.
First in the division. I mean, I gotta give credit to our relief pitchers, because you look at who our relief pitchers are. I mean, I'm going to name these guys, and you guys tell me if you knew of them, or count on your hands.
Before the season?
Your fingers. Yeah, how many guys you've heard of before this? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Zach Littell, Jose Alvarez, Jarlin Garcia.
Yep.
Dominic Leone, and then you probably heard of Tyler Rogers. But a lot of these guys are first time Giants. And I mean, they're amazing. I mean, look at this. Jose Alvarez, 2.47 ERA. Zach Littell, 2.88. Jarlin Garcia, 2.69. Dominic Leone, look at this, 1.62 ERA. Tyler Rogers, 2.1. So these guys are doing amazing things in our bullpen, and
they're doing their thing.
They're a big part.
Yeah, and you missed the young phenom too. Duvall. I mean, he struck out. Who did he strike out in the last podcast? Before the last podcast, it was he struck out, I think, Mookie Betts on 3 straight 100-mile-per-hour sliders. Good night.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh.
I think did I hear rumors that Duvall might end up being our closer if need be for the playoffs?
I mean, he might have to be, because Jake McGee, I believe he's
coming back.
He's nursing arm soreness. I forget what it is, but the way Duvall is doing, the way he's pitching, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of pitching by committee kind of thing with Tyler Rogers and Duvall, but I would not be opposed to see Duvall in a closer position. But he's young.
I prefer it. Yeah.
He's young.
Guys, I got to put 5 minutes on the clock. We got 5 minutes. So what I want to know is not necessarily a prediction, but what do you think? I mean, October 3rd, we basically are running the same schedule as last week, 3 and 3, but this time at home. And what do we think we're going to see on October 3rd when it's all said and done? I think they can do it. I really do.
Well, I'll go in here, and last week I had said I'm indecisive. I'm not sure. Now we got 6 games left, 2-game lead. Got to go with the Giants, baby, to close it out. I'm going to say we win by 1 game.
I like it.
Beat the Dodgers by 1 game.
Josh, under the clock, what do you got?
It's gonna be tough. Like I said, 4 out of 6. We gotta win it. The Dodgers are playing the Padres for the next 3 games, and they're playing the Brewers for the final 3 games. Brewers are a good team. So
yeah, let's get them. Yeah.
If the Brewers can do their job and help the Giants out, by all means, let's see it happen. But
all right, let's see Brew Crew win some games, and let's see if say like a Chris Bryant or somebody could step into Brent Belt's shoes and just hit some home runs for us.
Yep.
Last words, boys. We got him. Let's go to Steven first this week.
Hey, how about them Las Vegas Raiders? I know we haven't talked about them on our podcast, but
they're not Bay Area technically.
Hey, well, we still got some Bay love for them.
All right.
I'm still a Niners fan for sure, but I got love for DC4, Derek Carr, their QB.
Yeah.
He's playing at a all-star, not all-star. There's no football.
Very high range,
all pro level, and the Raiders are 3-0, tied with the Broncos for first place, and they got a big game next week. I think it's Sunday Night Football, I believe, or Monday Night Football. I can't remember which one. Versus the Chargers. So that'll be a big matchup for the Raiders. First time fans attending in Las Vegas Stadium at Allegiant. Yeah. So Raiders are on the up and up. So kudos to them.
Who would have thought that over the Niners right now being better record? Josh, what do you got?
Well, I was going to say a quick shout out to the Oakland A's. Hopefully they don't become Las Vegas A's. But anyhow, believe it or not, the A's are still in playoff contention. Okay. They have not been mathematically eliminated. They are 3 games out of the second wild card spot. So that means they got the Mariners ahead of them. They got the Blue Jays ahead of them and the Red Sox ahead of them. Now the A's are playing the Seattle Mariners this week. So basically, they got
that's the series.
It looks like they're going to lose tonight. So we'll probably
they are going to lose tonight. Oh no! So
probably not going to be in the playoffs. A's.
Yeah,
sorry,
but we love the A's, and hopefully they could do something. At least finish strong.
Finish strong. I like it. All right. Speaking of finishing strong, I want to share a quick story. Actually, it involves Josh Berger. We went to an Oakland Roots. So if those of you don't know who Oakland Roots are, they're like a AAA soccer team in the Bay Area. Steven, you don't know. Owned by Marshawn Lynch, by the way, one of the owners. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we got to watch a game. We saw a bicycle kick. It was nuts. Mm-hmm. I didn't sound the alarm. This is a soccer take right here. But this was the cool part. I got to actually go up to one of my heroes, Landon Donovan, who's coaching the San Diego Loyal. I just said, hey, it was and I got to say, as a human being, he was visibly not happy if they just lost 2-1. Yep. But he comes off. I tell him, hey, Landon, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything you've done for U.S. soccer. And he just comes with a fist bump, dude. We just fist bumped. I just said, hey, man, been watching you. I was out there in South Africa watching you for the World Cup. And he just showed respect, and I showed respect, and it was lovely. So that was really cool. Josh goes, man, you were daring, man. Yeah. You could have gotten caught.
He told me, like, I'm going to go see Landon Donovan. I'm like, please, I don't know you. You go do your thing. Bye.
No security in AAA soccer, bro.
Yeah, no, apparently not. I'm going to Las Casitas College, baby. Livermore High. Livermore. So anyways, that was that. It was a lovely night. Speaking of last night, while it was not our biggest, shining moment as the night, we went up, we lost that thing. Mm-hmm. My buddy Ryan up in Bend, Oregon, he's our mobster contributor of the week. Okay, we'll define more what a mobster is in a moment, but maybe next week. Ryan sent me this thing, pretty heartwarming. Okay, so Mason Crosby, early in his career, missed a handful of game-winning field goals. Mm-hmm. Since a particularly unfortunate event, he lost his sister-in-law back in 2019. So November 29th, 2019, he posted this on the 30th about his sister-in-law. Brittany's life inspired us all. She never let cancer. She died of ovarian cancer.
Got it.
Define her, though. Define her life, what it would look like. She lived this life on purpose and uplifted. And I know she's climbing the highest mountains in heaven. The love that Brittany and my bro, Reese, this is Mason speaking, shares is eternal. And, I just thought to myself, so since then, what Ryan shared with me is he has not missed a game-winning field goal since October of 2019. That's 2.5 seasons.
Wow.
2.4 seasons. And he's just perfect from then. He stole our hearts last night, but hey, I could say as a Niner fan or a Green Bay Packer fan, it doesn't matter. Yep. It doesn't even matter how many, field goals he'll ever go on to make or miss. Yep. But the fact that man continues to be inspired by his sister-in-law and carrying on family, that's what it's all about, guys. And so this family right here, you can see this is the Mob Podcast.
Gives me chills, man.
Yeah, right. You're seeing us on YouTube, Spotify. Yep. Please subscribe and like and do all that fun stuff because we're running out of time and we want to see you next week, week 4. We've got the Niners, Seahawks. Oh my brother-in-law, boy, he's going to be in for a treat when I go over to his house.
Oh boy.
But no, in all seriousness, thank you guys for listening.
Mom out.